guys. Thanks for watching the Trunk Tales. Don't worry, Nona and I will be back very soon for He's Wrong, She's Right. But for now, this is an advanced preview of our new show, The Trunk Tales, with myself and Grimzy News. Check it out, get subscribed, and we will see you on both channels very soon, I hope. And I do want to say thank you guys for supporting those of you that have stayed channel members on He's Wrong, She's Right, even though we haven't uploaded in several months. We do appreciate your support, and we are coming back. We will have a lot of great content for you guys, and it should be coming very soon. So enjoy this episode of the Trunk Tales. And if you're not subscribed, go check it out. And if you're new to the Trunk Tales, or if you're watching the Trunk Tales as it comes out, go get subscribed to our other channel, He's Wrong, She's Right. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week.
I don't think, I mean, I've been a fucking barber for almost 15 years. I don't use email. Like I've never had to fucking use email for anything.
Yeah.
So this is all new fucking work for me. What is this blue fucking thing that you just sent me, bro?
It's called a blue and Solaris. It's a Komodo.
Bullshit. No, this is photoshopped in a motherfucker. I don't want to hear that shit.
Dead ass serious, bro.
Bullshit. Listen to me.
I'm dead ass, dude. Look it up. Blue and Solaris. It's a Komodo dragon pit viper.
You have lost your fucking mind. You know what's crazy though? I'm no bullshit. I'm a street kid, right? But I've never had a fear of anything reptile, fucking spider, fucking snakes. None of that shit. I love that kind of shit. The only thing I don't fuck with is insects. I don't like insects at all.
Spiders. I don't fuck with spiders at all. I fucking hate spiders. We have wolf spider, bro. I'm going to New Bern for a call. This is like Monday. Yeah, this is like Monday, right? I'm heading up to fucking New Bern, which is like an hour to hour and a half drive, depending upon what part of it you're going to. I'm going like 65. I'm on a section where speed limit changes from 65 up to 70. And then it's just, 70 straight out till you hit 17 business going into New Bern. So I just hit the section where I'm going 70, got up to like 76, 77. I'm going. I saw some like movement out of the corner of my eye on the floorboard of the work truck. I'm like, what the fuck was that? And I look over, bro, fucking wolf spider, like that fucking big around, fucking crawling around my goddamn truck. I about fucking crashed that bitch. I had a fucking heart attack. That fucking thing, because wolf spiders, they jump. Yep. It fucking jumped up and shit. I was like, fuck you. Like,
you know what? I don't mind spiders. I just don't like insects, and it's fucked up because Florida is littered with insects that I'm not gonna fucking like, bro.
Yeah. Wait till you see your first palmetto bug.
Huh?
Wait till you get your first palmetto bug.
What is that?
It's a cockroach that gets to be about that long. They fly and they hiss at you. We have them here too.
Yep.
When I see them, I'm gonna drive up to where y'all are at, and I'm fighting both of y'all bare knuckle as soon as I see y'all, man.
Oh, yeah, you get palmetto bugs out there like a motherfucker, dude. We used to joke.
Wait, no, I gotta see these motherfuckers. Hold on. Fuck you mean palmetto bug?
I'm leaving this in on the pre-roll for the show because we're already recording right now.
What the fuck you mean palmetto bug? PALMETO bug.
Yep.
Nope. No. Hey, listen. Baby, we're canceling Florida. We're canceling Florida.
Well, everyone.
Fuck all of that. Hey, both of y'all can fuck yourselves right now for introducing me to this nightmare of a fucking bug.
First thing you got to do when you get there, hire yourself the best bug guy in the area.
Yes.
That's the key.
That is the key.
Yep. Have him come and spray and fog your yard and do all that.
The first thing I wanted to do when I got out there, let me explain to y'all the first thing I wanted to do when I got out there, okay? I wanted to go and get a fucking, not necessarily yet. I need to go and get a license, right? First things first, I need to get a fucking license out there because I can't even buy guns out there without a fucking license from Florida, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, maybe I don't know what their laws are.
Well, yeah, I don't know what their out-of-state laws are.
So I needed to do that, and I wanted to go and buy a fucking AR because I've been wanting an AR for a fuck like just way too long from here.
Well, now you got something to new AR.
And instead, fuck you. And instead, I have to go get a fucking bug guy. That's not a number I wanted in my phone, by the way, gentlemen. I hope you know that. I gotta go get a fucking bug guy. The best bug guy I can find.
You also get banana spiders down there like we have here too.
Have you watched that?
I'm gonna put a banana in your fucking mouth.
No. Seriously, look up banana spider.
I don't know if I want to look up anything else from what you tell me. Hold on.
What's that show? What's the dude? He was in The Office. He's been in like every Dana McBride show and movie. Black guy.
Oh!
They get to be like 7 inches across.
Well.
Welcome to the South, baby.
And welcome to the Trunk Tales, everyone. My name's Andrew.
So
My name's Andrew.
I'm Grimzy.
My co-host Grimzy over here. And today we have on set NotZ3Music on X. You check them out. Well, there'll be links and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, always.
Certified cunt. That's what we got going on here. That's what we got going on here.
For whatever amount that I left in the beginning of the episode, for people that jumped over because they're like, I don't want to watch these highlights. It wasn't a highlight. That was really the conversation that led up to the start of this episode. So if you skipped it, go back to the beginning, watch it, and then take that to heart. Understand how bad Grimzy does not like bugs and creatures.
You don't got to watch that. You don't got to watch that.
So today we've got. Damn, I'm just gonna call you Z because that's just easier.
Yeah, works for me.
We got Z here to talk about some stuff that went on with Hurricane Helene last year, some other policing type stuff. If you guys watched our episode with him on He's Wrong, She's Right a couple months ago, kind of be talking about some similar topics within that realm, and then just shooting the shit because we're all guys from the same group chat.
Yeah,
so one of the
hell yeah, shooting boot, baby.
Yep. There's like 7 different GCs.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm only in one of them though.
You are?
I'm only in one of them, man. I'm not part of the cool kid crew just yet.
That's because you don't have an AR yet.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. All right. Go fuck yourself, Z.
That's what we do around here.
I'm gonna start spamming people, telling them just to add you. Well, you don't engage. That's the problem. You got to be on there. You got to be part of the mixing in the conversation.
Give as much shit as you can to absolutely everybody in them groups, bro.
Yeah, but bro, the problem is like it's a fucking time thing, right? Like I barely have enough fucking time to come home and wipe my ass half the fucking time. So it's hard to fucking stay up to date. Cause look, okay, you send a message in the GC, right?
Yep.
And then you look away from the phone for 5 minutes and there's 47 new messages, 6 of which replied to you, and then 4 different sub conversations happened within fucking 5 minutes, bro. Yep. It's hard to keep up with that shit most of the time.
I hear you with that one.
Now you know how I feel about literally any form of messaging. My clients for my business know if you don't send me an email, it's gone. Like if you try and text me about something, I've already gotten 50 text messages from 50 other people, and your message is buried, and it's not even in my thought process to go back and look. And
for the record, I can confirm this because I tried texting him when I was rolling down this way, and it literally took him like fucking 20 minutes into my drive before he's like, "Oh yeah, we're still on for today."
There's only one person worse than him.
Who's that?
This guy. This guy. Drew texts me like fucking. He'll text me and I'll miss it for 2 days. And he'll have to double text me. Look, that's the one thing I'll say about Drew is he don't have a fucking ego. He'll double text the fuck out of me because he needs to. I don't respond to shit.
People will ask me something and they'll say, "Hey, can you do this for me or whatever?" And I'm like, yeah. Please remind me, because I'm legitimately telling you to remind me. I will try to remember if I don't have it in my notes or if it's not in my calendar or some sort of reminder. Because I don't know if you guys ever use this feature, but if you get like an email or something and you use Gmail, and I'm sure all the other platforms do this, you can set the email to like re-enter your inbox at a set time, or you can set it as a task.
Shit, I just like knock the fuck out of that mic. My bad.
So a lot of times I'll set stuff as tasks, and then the first thing I do in the morning when I sit down, when I know I'm going to be working through the day, I sit down, I look at my task list, and I can click on each checkbox and go one email at a time and knock out whatever people got for me. If they don't do that, and it's in a text or they Facebook message me for some reason, which I don't check that. I've said this for years, people. I do not check messaging on any app other than X.
I very rarely check anything except for X. It's just
I feel so much taller.
It's just not worth the time and investment. I don't know. Because you are, bro. I mean, Jesus Christ, fucking Paul Bunyan over here.
I hate looking down on people. I'm like, hey, what's up, man?
You look down on everybody, bro. You're in your own weather climate up there.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the famed Sky Force that they have out there in fucking Southeast Asia and shit like that. Like everyone's sitting is like it's like 85 to 90% humidity, fucking raining all the time. And then there's your big ass fucking over top everybody. It's like 40 degrees cooler up at the top.
I mean, but I ain't gonna like normal Americans are like 2 foot taller than everybody in Asia. So it's not. Yeah. That's a short people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Dude, when I was in Korea, and you were in Oki, right?
Very briefly.
So when I was over in Korea and then had to lay over in Tokyo one time, it was incredible how much taller I am than people. And I felt like I was average because the school that I went to, I'm not from very much farther away from where you currently live, Grimzy. It's from just outside of South Bend. And I went to a huge high school where I was like, for as far as like the sports teams go, like I would have never made the basketball team because I was too short at 6'3".
They thought you were the big show out there when you were in Korea, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. You walk around anywhere and you're like, everyone comes up to here.
They're taking pictures with you and shit. You should have wore the one strap singlet. Like you should have just put that bitch on and say you're the big show out there.
See, the thing is, at least for me, you know, everyone's always like, you can always tell that you're an American service member or whatever when you go to another country. And I was like, nobody can tell that. Nobody can tell. And then it wasn't until like I was so retarded. It wasn't until I got out and started growing my hair again because I shaved my head bald, clean cut face, and everything like that for years. When I was like, I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, yeah, they could tell. They could definitely tell.
At that point, it's very obvious.
Yeah. But yeah. So to draw us back on topic.
Yeah.
Do we have any Ralph Avalone updates?
Not really. He had a court date back in July.
Okay.
And they essentially got a continuance on the case. And so last I heard, I think
hold on before, because look, there might be people that haven't watched the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast. So why don't we just get a little story time of what happened? Because you know we're probably gonna have a different audience.
Yeah,
so let's take it from the top.
So pretty much back in the day when Hurricane Helene rolled through, that would have been October last year. So late September, October.
Yeah.
Absolutely devastated Western North Carolina. And as we kind of alluded to earlier, we're all in a group chat GC together on X, and we got a bunch of people that are from North Carolina here and in that chat. And one of them is a very good friend of ours. Is on X. He goes by Retired Influencer now. I'm not going to say his name, but he is right in the heart of it. And I mean, there was a point there where a couple of us in the group chat were not able to get a hold of him for a couple of days after the storm hit. And we were literally in the process of getting planned together. We know his address and everything. We were getting plans together to get in there and find him. And finally got a hold of us. But anyways, after that happened, he had started making video content, making fun of an individual named Ralph the Captain Avalon and his little group of cronies that he has that run a group called Patriot Tactical Survival Team or something like that. It's like PTST or something like that.
Yep.
But some of the people in there were like fake search and rescue specialists. And he says that he worked for like different government agencies to include like Blackwater and some of these, Triple Canopy and a couple of these other organizations that do PMC security and stuff like that. And claims that he was special forces and in the military and a whole bunch of stuff. And what kind of brought them onto the map was they made a video claiming that in one of these towns up in Western North Carolina that a infant froze to death because they were giving these people who were losing their homes, campers and trailers and stuff to live out of temporarily. And apparently the police came through, kicked out a family from a camper saying they had no right to it, told them to go sleep in a tent, even though they had an infant, and that in the middle of the night, the infant died.
And I do want to jump in here for a second and add a little bit more context to this. There were real instances of buildings and structures and things like that that the government agencies in the area deemed unsafe.
Mhm.
And there were real cases of people being told that they needed to leave, go somewhere else, find different shelter. So a lot of these people were actually intense. So they took what was basically kind of true and
a
then
possible situation and then fabricated an entire story out of it. And then essentially started saying, now send us money so we can help these people. But the thing is that they set themselves up with the fake 501c3.
Yep.
They apparently had some of the paperwork in place and everything.
Just explain to people what a 501c3 is.
It's essentially a nonprofit organization. So you can, send money to them and, it goes to a good cause. So places like the Boys and Girls Club, that's going to be a 501c3. They'll sometimes have paid employees and paid staff, but for the most part, the donations they bring in go towards, it's some sort of charity in a way. Like I said, Boys and Girls Club, Boy Scouts of America, Girl Scouts of America. Technically, the NFL is a 501c3, if I'm not mistaken. The actual entity of the NFL, but it's like it's a non-for-profit organization. Essentially, is what it is.
And what it, bro, I don't know what it is about people using tragedy to make fucking money or taking any kind of situation. Like you seen this the dude, what's the big fucking goofy Jolly Good Ginger, that dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he did this thing where he put a bunch of vets together, right? And brought them to DC and basically made a video saying some shit like, me and a bunch of the other vets out here, we're here and we're going to stand here until the National Guard leaves. Okay. He said, we're going to camp out here until the National Guard leaves. And the only way that we can stay out here is if y'all help out. And he started a GoFundMe. Okay. That GoFundMe, I think now it's at like over $100,000.
Wow.
Somebody drove past that same spot. I think it was that night.
Oh, he wouldn't know where to be found.
And nobody was there.
Nope. Absolutely not.
I don't know what it is about people who like to take tragedy and upset and turn it into profit.
Yep. And
it's on every side too. Like it's
the easiest way to make money. It's the absolute easiest way to make money,
especially when you do it that way, where you're taking donations outside of your normal.
When you're exploiting people, is what it comes down to. And I take that back. And I don't mean to sound mean. Typically, they're exploiting women because they're trying to tug at the heartstrings.
Yep.
And that's where it's coming from. Because what they do is they'll sit there. So the person that Ralph is in bed with, essentially, one of the big ones, her name is Diane. And Diane is Diane Carter. And she's another one that we've gotten arrested a couple times now. But she made this video saying that she saw the infant. She watched the morgue come out. She watched it, the coroner's office and come out, take the remains of the child, blah, 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 the shit. Then she was like taken back to a church and sat down at the church and told that, she saw nothing. She heard nothing, that she would never, she was going to be sworn to secrecy on it. They made her sign an affidavit paperwork that is essentially an NDA that she had never seen anything, blah, 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 but she couldn't keep her mouth shut. She had to do what's right. Oh, by the way, send me money so I can help these people.
How much money did they end up making off of this situation?
What we know as of right now is over $700,000. And that's between corporate donors and private donors that I know of. And that's just in one account.
And for anybody,
and that's in just one account.
For anybody wondering, when you spin up a 501c3, so essentially what you have to do, you create a corporation within your state, your county, however your laws are in your local area. So you create an actual corporation, and then you apply with the IRS to be considered a 501c3. There's other types of nonprofit organizations, but 501c3 is the one that most people know of and most people use. There's some things that you can and can't do. Like if I were with Veteran Wiki, the one that I'm the executive director of, if I sold products, like even merch, that is taxed. But if you make a donation to me,
tax free,
and I give you something for your donation, that's free. So when you go, and you can use other non-traditional means like Venmo and Zelle and whatever else to collect donations from people. It doesn't have to be checks and wire transfers and things like that. The problem comes down to when you actually file your taxes and do all your annual reporting, you have to provide all of that. You have to provide the receipts to the IRS. And in your first year, I believe it's, if you're over 50,000 or over 100,000, it's one of the two in the first year. You have to provide a lot more detail, and you have to show where that money went to. And there's transparency reporting around this. There's there's two major ones. One's called GuideStar, and then the other one's Network for Good. You have to, if you want to use any of these services like Facebook Giving, YouTube fundraisers, or Google fundraisers, or whatever, PayPal for nonprofits. If you want to use any of those services actually as a nonprofit, you have to actually be a 501c3. You have to be approved with the IRS, and you have to be in GuideStar and Network for Good. So if you're making a donation to somebody who claims that they are a nonprofit and they're collecting money from those ways, the quickest thing that you can do, ask them for their EIN. They have to provide it to you. Look up their EIN with the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
If they are not in the IRS database, which they might lie to you and say, oh, we're not updated yet. That's bullshit. It'll show pending if you're pending.
Yep. It's because as soon as you will put your application in, you're given an EIN number, and that EIN will say pending next to it. But the other thing too is ensure that if you're doing that with that 501c3 has been in operation longer than a 12-month period.
Yep.
Because what these guys do, and this, so I'll put it like this, if you want to make your head blow a little bit there, Grimzy. We found records of this guy going all the way back into Hurricane Katrina. We found 19 different.
So he's been doing this shit with fucking like with these same kind of. So it's the same scam he's been running forever.
We found records of at least 19 corporations that he's associated with.
19. That's fucking.
So now, if you think about it like this, Hurricane Helene, they profited over $700,000 that we know of. We got onto them in late October going into November. So by the time that, really started going public with a lot of this stuff was probably mid-January. So in a 4-month period, $700,000 with one company alone. What do you think he did with the other 19 when he was running under the radar?
Because this is the first one that he's actually been called out for.
Yes. And so the way they do it, and it's very smart off their behalf. What they'll do is they'll go in, because local police, local authorities are so hemmed up with everything going on with the disaster, whether that be cleanup, or search and rescue, or trying to rehouse, or now we have an influx of criminality in the area because people are looting, and all the different things that come with a natural disaster. They're so hemmed up with all those efforts. They're being pulled in so many different directions and are stretched so thin. They don't have time to dedicate themselves to, hey, this guy's over here asking for money. They don't care about that at that point. Everyone's fucking asking for money. Everyone just lost everything. Of course, there's somebody asking for money.
Yep.
So they don't even think twice about it. So what they'll do is they'll file their paperwork. They'll get their EIN. They'll become a nonprofit according to the state. And then as soon as it comes time to file their taxes next year, they will not file those taxes. And so the state will send them 2 letters. The first one says, hey, you're 30 days past. The next one says, hey, you're 90 days past. If you don't submit this in the next 30 days, you're losing your corporation. They just never file again. The corporation goes under for lack of filing taxes. They move on, do it again. Because you can open as many 501c3s as you possibly want. They will never, ever look back into any other one that you were associated with.
I just, man, and the craziest part about this, and at the core of it, right? They made $700,000 in donations based off of
lies,
a fake story about a dead baby. Can we just can we fucking think about that for a second?
Yep.
Somebody made $700,000 off of a fake story about a dead baby.
Yep. Oh, they pushed it even further. So like the girl that he was working with, Diane, she would sit there and go on. She operates mainly off of Facebook, but she'll go on there and put, I just saw this family in McDonald's that couldn't pay for their food, so I paid for it all, blah, 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 blah. Post a fucking McDonald's receipt and then say this was for the family. Or she'll like she was known at one point going into one of the areas where they had a bunch of these mobile homes. I say mobile homes, they're essentially like trailers is what they are. camping trailers, not like a traditional single wide or they're camping trailers is what they provide for these people. But she would go to these areas where they had encampments set up for these individuals that had lost their homes and start asking people if she could take pictures of their kids for asking for donations to help the people. And so some said yes, some said no. But the ones that said yes, she would take pictures of the kids inside of a camper and then sit there, post it on Facebook and be like, this is little Johnny. Little Johnny lost his home, his teddy bear, his dog, his cat, and his goldfish, blah, blah, blah. The funds that you donated to me helped me to get a new trailer to put him and his family in for the time being. Thank you so much. By the way, here's a link if you want to send me more.
And is there any fucking proof that any of this money went to any of them families?
No, there's no way to track it.
And legally, it's their obligation to report that. So this is, what was it, a couple years ago when the IRS switched to requiring reporting of any gift above $600 or whatever. So theoretically, they are committing tax evasion.
Oh,
they're committing all kinds of crimes, no matter how you look at it. Because even if they were doing it under their own social security number to their personal accounts, that money is still considered, a gift. Dog's whining. A gift or a payment or something. So because it went to them, to their personal account, that's taxable as income to them. Even if they took in $100, right? We're just going to throw out a hypothetical, or let's say 1,000 to make it over that threshold. Even if they took in $1,000 and gave $1,000 to a family in need because they did that through their private account, they are taxed as that being their income, and it has to be reported as such. So to not be actually using a 501c3, to be using personal accounts and doing this, even if you give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they were actually trying to do good, they're still committing tax evasion.
Well, not just that, but the fact that he went out of his way to, they put it into an account that was associated with the business, but they were using those funds for personal purposes, and we know this for a fact. I know of at least 2 firearm purchases. I know of multiple meals, car payments, and stuff like that were all made from this account.
And here's the thing too. It doesn't matter if you spent if you bought a McDouble at McDonald's, that's not your fucking money to spend on
Correct.
yourself, right?
Correct.
And I think this is the problem, right? And this is what it's going to get to a point where nonprofit organizations can't be trusted at all. So where we have that rare occurrence where we have a nonprofit who does actually help the people that they say they're helping, those nonprofit organizations aren't going to get any more funding because it's starting to come out that nonprofits can be used to steal fucking money and do whatever you want with it because nobody's going to get punished for it.
Yep.
And
it's a sad reality of this shit because there are people that need help, right? It's like those families that were there, camped out, lost their home, lost everything. They're not getting help from anybody. They did need help.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They needed a lot of fucking help. And people like this who run nonprofits who just steal money, they're exploiting.
And one of the smart things that I have seen people say, not just with Helene, but with a lot of disasters over the last couple of years, because there are, major organizations as well that per dollar that you donate to that organization, maybe 10 cents makes it to the cause because they have all of this overhead.
There's so much overhead. So it's like you could take in the money for donations, but you still can account for things like payroll and everything like that. So it's the same thing as like churches, so churches, when you donate to a church, it's tax-free. The church gets it tax-free. However, what the church puts out to salaries for, receptionist staff, if they have receptionists, to the pastor, to the youth pastor, all those items, when they pay those out, those items get taxed as they're making the payments, and the individual receiving it, their portion of it gets taxed as well. So it's not fully tax-free, ever. It's the donation portion itself that's tax-free. And so what happened now, you do have some exceptions and stuff. So like you'll realize it because you told me what you're going into when you get down to Florida. So you'll hear this happen in that industry a little bit too, is what's called tax exempt status on businesses. So for certain industries, whether it's plumbing, HVAC, restoration, electrical, electricians, all this stuff like that. If you go to certain locations, like Lowe's does it a lot, Home Depot does it a lot. If you're a vendor with a special number through the state, it's a tax exempt status because you're not purchasing things for, like just building and stuff like that. You're purchasing it for services rendered. So services rendered can't be taxed, material can. So, there's a difference in there for certain things. There's a lot to it to go into tax law. And I'll be the first one to sit here and say I'm not a tax lawyer. So don't listen to a fucking word I say 90% of the time about the law when it comes to that. But what I do know is if you're using upwards of, I heard numbers of anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 in a couple month time frame for personal uses, as opposed to, ever putting a penny of donated money towards actually fucking helping somebody, you deserve to fucking rot out of the prison. And I take pride in the fact that I helped get that cocksucker arrested.
Fucking man. Hey, because here's the thing, right? And I talk about this a lot, whether it be on social media or in these episodes, right? We keep moving further and further away from integrity, bro. Like the integrity, it used to be that the integrity of a man is what you judge somebody on, right? Man or woman, to be honest with you, right? And I feel like we keep moving further and further from that. Like
a handshake used to go a long way.
It's insane, man. Like, and it's everywhere. Even to the smallest point of like grifting accounts on X, right? People who sell out to make money. The integrity of man is dying, bro, and it's insane to see. Man.
Oh, it really is.
There's a lot of instances as well where it makes sense to do it because it's the fastest way to achieve the first goal of becoming legitimate, right? So like you get accounts on every social media platform, X included, who take stuff from the AP and they take a feed and they just repost things and drum up, their own following. They take in that money from X, from ad revenue and all that other stuff. And then slowly somebody catches wind on them, like a bigger news organization or a bigger social media conglomerate. And then they add them as an affiliate channel, right? So now you've taken this account that was literally set up with nothing but the intent of making money off of somebody else's work. Now you've legitimized them and given them basically the tools to continue doing it, at a bigger, larger scale. And there's no incentive for them to ever do the right thing because being the first to report is the one that gets the most clicks. It's the one that gets the most ad revenue. And it doesn't matter if the story's right or wrong. It matters who publishes first, who gets the most traffic.
And low key, that ends up being a pyramid scheme, right?
Yep.
Because
it absolutely does.
Because look, now they become an affiliate. Let's say that you got a grifting account and they're doing nothing but taking stories from AP and posting it on their own, right? They become an affiliate for AP.
Yep.
So now they're making money off of sharing AP stories. Then people go to AP to look at the original of that story, right? So the more and more affiliates they bring on, and especially AP's dog shit.
Yep.
We'll talk like I'll say AP is dog shit. Most of these fucking news outlets are dog shit, right? Mm-hmm. So AP is gonna add on hundreds of fucking affiliates because at the end of the day, it adds more clicks to what they do. So and I don't think people really look at it as a pyramid scheme, but that's really what it comes down to, because they're funneling money from AP, they're giving money down from views and clicks to everybody else, and it all comes back to the top. That kind of shit, like that's what irks me, and that's what I think is, especially for me personally. I cannot and will not grow like that.
Yep.
I just can't do it. So when you see more and more things like this, and the further we get away from integrity, it's all gonna go to shit, man. It's all gonna go to shit.
Well, and the one thing about it too, especially when you get into the scale that he got into. Now, I will say, I mean, I played a small part. And I'm not bullshitting, when I say I held a hand in him getting arrested twice. And I to the day I die, will love every fucking second of it. And one of the things, I know you like to troll people as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And don't try to stab me. But one of the great things that we did is when he got arrested the second time, he's still sitting in prison. He's sitting on like $50,000 in bond right now. And he cannot get out.
Take that into perspective with how much money he told you that he stole, and he can't come up with the 10% to bail out.
Well, he can't.
Well, they froze it all, right?
Exactly. They froze the account, so he has no access to it. So, but he committed.
Let's get into. Well, first of all, let's get into his charges, right? What exactly did he end up getting charged with from all of this?
So when we got him arrested the first time, it actually had absolutely nothing to do with Hurricane Helene. It had everything to do with the fact that we ran a Spaces on X. He dropped into it, and I have a way of baiting and trolling people a little bit here and there. I'll be the first one to admit it. And got him to come on the stream, and he refused to actually hop on with a mic. He was just, talking mad shit through the chat. I mean, I was like, all right, cool. Come up, fucking, feel free, open platform. I'll make everyone shut the fuck up. You can sit there and explain yourself. We'll have a conversation about it. We'll see what's going on. And he refused. And so I ran like a 2.5 hour space, just dog ripping the shit out of him. And that night he ended up going out for his fiance. Well, I think they're ex-fiancés now, at least I'm assuming, but went out for her birthday using money that was from this account to celebrate for her birthday, I might add. Got shithoused and got so upset about the fact that we ran a Spaces that was exposing him that he ended up pulling a gun on her and threatening to kill her. Yeah. So he was arrested for that. He bailed out.
Hey, that's a tough guy right there, bro.
All while lying about work.
Yeah, all while lying because he was saying at the same time. So that happened down in Palm Beach County, Florida. And when he got arrested, and he was telling everybody that morning that he was still currently up in North Carolina.
Great guy.
Just amazing guy. And
yeah.
Like what? Let's play by play this shit, right? Z here, master manipulator in trolling, got this man so upset that while he's spending stolen money, right? Because technically that money is stolen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
While he's out there spending stolen money, gets highly upset at the 2 hour space that went down. What did she make comments about the space? Like, is that what set him off?
No, she kind of slipped up a little bit in the days leading up to it. And she started reaching out to a couple of the people that were trolling him and reposting his videos with like mock videos and shit like that. And she said his actual full name.
Oh shit. No.
And so that made its way back to me. And as you know, I'm very good at finding information out about people. I just helped you out a couple of days ago with the situation. How'd that work out, by the way?
We're not sure. We'll see, I guess, this week.
Gotcha.
I mean, we can bring it up on here real quick. So one of the teachers at the kid's new school was arrested on the first day of school at some point in time during the day, not at school, but at some point in time, or I think he actually turned himself in for the dumbest fucking thing anybody could do. He has a protective order taken out against him by his ex-wife for whatever. We don't know what it was taken out for, but a judge granted it. They have an app that they're required to communicate through about their children. So they're not allowed to text, they're not allowed to call, they have to use this court-appointed app, right? Tell me why this motherfucker texted his ex-wife instead of using it. And then on top of that, what the fuck could he have said that she went right to reporting him about it? Like, that's stop texting me, use the app or I'm going to report you, right? Like, you give one warning typically.
Either that or she's just that vindictive that she's trying to get that teacher pension.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it all depends on how bad that situation is, right? Yeah. If that situation is as bad as it can be, you can use anything to do it. So you probably don't even need the warning of use the app, it's as easy as calling. So it just depends on how toxic that situation is.
My wife jumped into the group. So I found out about this from another parent at football practice. I overheard a conversation he was having with his wife, and not thinking he was going to be a teacher that we knew, right? I just was like, oh, hey, you guys were kind of talking pretty loud on speaker. Overheard, is that like somebody at school around here? He said, yeah, he's this teacher at this school. And I was like, I looked at Chloe. I was like, that's your teacher, right? And she's like, yeah, you shook his hand. And I was like, God damn it.
But no, anyway, so that night he got hammered, and he ended up pulling a gun on her and saying in his threat, how could you, or something along the lines of, you did this to me, or something like that. Or how could you let them do this to me? Because at that point, side note to this whole situation caused a bunch of us that are in this group and like-minded and stuff to kind of come together. And we created a watchdog organization, an actual 501c3. We don't do donations or anything crazy like that, but being that we do watchdog, and we do have to be registered. And we called ourselves Diversity. No, I'm playing. It was.
Listen, look, I almost called you many things I can't call.
Oh, no, you're still gonna love this. See, we troll it with everything. All right, so it's disrupt, expose, and integrity solutions. So we are DEI solutions. So anyway, so we have some people in there who ran intel. He's still laughing about it. We have people who did intel.
I hate y'all so much.
But we have people who do intel. We have people who do all kinds of different things, and we're all pretty good about finding out information on people. So we ran the deep dive, and that's when we really started finding a lot of things about him. And we turned it over not only to local authorities out here, but to Palm Beach County authorities as well, because everything that he has registered and listed is all registered out of Palm Beach County. And so, if they were to look into anything, they would have to look into it most likely through that local jurisdiction, because they would take an initial control of the investigation.
Have you guys seen the argument? We kind of talked about this a little bit last week, Grimzy, with Becca, but I don't think I ever brought it up by name. But there's a lot of debate, and it started with what we were talking about in that episode with that YouTuber that was talking about or bringing down the Roblox predators.
Schlep.
Yeah, and they're talking about, or people are debating like the merits and the necessity of digital vigilantes, right? Like people that are not police or licensed investigators or whatever going out and doing stuff like this. And a lot of the debate is around, for one, legality, what's admissible in court as well. Like if I put together an entire investigative packet on somebody, is that cyber stalking or is it actually detective work? Will it hold up in court or will it not?
And, and I didn't watch that episode, but to put my 2 cents in on it.
We haven't put it out yet.
Oh, okay. See, that works even better. See, perfect. But no, what I was going to say is I personally am all about it.
Yep.
Because law enforcement gets stretched so thin so often. You can only dedicate yourself to so much. And now what I will say is that there needs to be thresholds around it as far as containment. Going about the whole predators thing. I mean, you have some people that are like Alex Rosen and Gideon, where it's and if you follow him on X, it's at I Fight for Kids, but they run a group. Alex runs a group called Predator Poachers. Gideon runs one that's called EDP Watch. And they go out, they locate these predators, they essentially coerce them. I wouldn't say coerce, but they get them to interact with them, thinking that they're a minor,
to do the
or they're a possible child. Not going to say that next word, traitor. And they'll get these individuals somehow to meet up with them, whether it's them just showing up at their house, because they use similar techniques as to what we utilize in our 501c3, or they have open communications and tell them, hey, meet me at this apartment complex or whatever it is. But they'll sit them down. All they do is talk to them. They don't threaten them. They make it very well known. You are on camera. You're being audio recorded. You can leave whenever you want. You can tell me to fuck off whenever you want. I'm not armed. Please don't be armed yourself. We're not here to hurt you. We're just here to talk. And they get these people just to sit there and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. And then eventually there's a code word. Cops show up. cops arrest him. They say, look, this is all my information. I am 100% about that. Now,
the GC version of Chris Hansen.
Do I believe that there's a lot of risk associated with stuff like this? Absolutely, because you will find somebody who's going to be armed. You will find somebody who's going to be crazy. You will find somebody who eventually will, even with how anonymous we are with our group, we will find somebody that will try to do something stupid. It's inevitable, but that's a risk that I'm willing to take as somebody who's operating within this field. But then you get some of them that are like dads against predators, which, don't get me wrong, couple times I saw a couple of their clips and stuff, I think it's fucking hilarious. But they just walk up to a dude who they are accusing of trying to meet a minor. I'm assuming they've got pretty damn good evidence, for how they approach this. But they'll walk up and just start slapping the living fuck out of these people, like beating the shit out of these people. And they're like, "What are you going to do? Call the cops? Go ahead, call the cops. I'll show them this right here. Go ahead, show the cops." So it's more of like that vigilante. I'm going to beat the holy fuck out of you. And yeah, go ahead. I'll take an assault charge.
I don't mind either one. I don't mind either one, to be honest with you. But here's the whole vigilante thing. Like y'all know.
I was just say real quick. My only concern that I have with the second one,
you falsely accuse somebody.
Right there. I have no doubt that to the point they're going to, they've got the evidence. Like zero doubt they have the evidence on that individual. But what happens that one time you're wrong and you just beat the fucking shit out of somebody, and now you're on the hook for look at this whole Rajah fucking Jackson situation.
That right there. Listen, but okay, real quick. We'll let me touch on that situation real quick. That situation I feel is very different, in the sense that if you were going to do what you did, right? And for the people who haven't seen it, Rajah Jackson is Rampage Jackson's son, and he has prospects. He had prospects to going into the UFC, right? What happened was they went to a wrestling event, like a WWE type event, but it was like a lower level event. It was like a local event. And one of the wrestlers apparently thought he was a wrestler. And while they were back there drinking or doing whatever, he and here's the thing too. I don't even know if he actually did crush it. They said he did it on his hand. It's like a joke, whatever it is. But he crushed
it was one of those stage cans.
Yeah.
Where it's like it just breaks apart really easy.
So he crushed it on Rajah's head, right? And Rajah got upset about it. They were going back and forth. And apparently a little later, the guy found out Rajah's not a wrestler, and he fucking apologized, and they had that conversation. There's that video that came out as well, right? So what was supposed to be planned was to get his quote unquote revenge. They were going to let Rajah go into the ring while this man, his name's Psycho Stu. That's his wrestling name. He's a vet. I believe I don't know if he's a war vet, but he's a vet. They were going to let Rajah go into the ring and disrupt the match and, do some fun shit. Well, what ended up happening was he went into the ring and he lifted this dude and slammed him on his head and essentially knocked him out cold, and then proceeded to hit him with like 20 different haymakers while he was already unconscious. Even at attempts of everybody trying to pull him off, Psycho Stu ended up going into a coma, which from what I've seen, he's up and awake and he remembers what happened and everything is good with him. But the difference
didn't look that bad.
No, I know they said he had some broken bones in his face and he's missing multiple teeth. I know they said that.
But like the way he was sitting up, I don't think he was smiling. He just was kind of like,
I think he was kind of dazed out a little bit. I'll say this: that dude to take that ass whooping and fucking get up a couple days later,
crazy
dude. He's got a chin on him.
Well, he was already knocked out. You could take an ass whooping while you knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying to be able to wake up 2 days later from what he took.
Nah, you're right. You're right. So the big difference with that is if Rajah would have fought him the minute he crushed him with that can, it's very different, right?
Yep.
After the fact, when you get the information that it's a misunderstanding and then you do it, it's very different. And that Rajah's fucked. It's
I
over
agree.
for him.
I agree. Here's where I make that comparison is, say Dad against Preds confront somebody, and let's say they're twins, right? The person that you have twin brothers, John and Joe. Joe's the one who's talking to the kid and, fucking up. And then he goes to the fucking store and he's like, hey, I'm going to the mall, to John. And hey, John, why don't you tag along to the mall? Right. So he has more of an excuse to be out there, fucking with somebody else. I got a hair trying to go up my nose. It's bugging the shit out of me. But he has some, see, now it's messing with you too. So,
it is, you fucking asshole.
But let's say he takes his identical twin brother Jonathan to the mall, and then Dad's Against Pred shows up and sees John, but Joe's the one who's been fucking with the kid, and they sit there and go to John. Hey, John, hey, what the fuck? That's not me. That's my brother Joe. Nah, man, that's you. It fucking looks just like you. I know. Fucking damn, smack, beats the fuck out of this dude. He had nothing to do with it.
I get it. There's definitely the risk
physical aspect of it. The physicality aspect is where I draw my line. You have, now.
If it was your own kid,
no, not even.
That's a different story.
No, and still, even then, you can claim temporary insanity.
Yeah.
Fuck. Look at what happened with Gary Pluchet. Freaking, kid was getting touched by the fucking wrestling coach. He premeditated that shit, shot the fuck out of him with the cops there. It's still one of my favorite clips of all time. Why, Gary? Why? But fucking.
I highly recommend seeing it if you haven't. It's amazing.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah. But the judge let him off and said, yeah, temporary insanity. No problem. So if it's a parent of a kid, that's one thing. But it's the fact that this group is purposefully going out, locating these individuals.
Well, okay, so that kind of
for the sole purpose of causing them physical injury.
No, I feel that. And that's what kind of segues me into this. Do y'all know who Ryan Montgomery is?
Not drawn it.
Generic name sounds familiar.
So Ryan Montgomery is what people were saying was one of the best ethical hackers out there, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he would deep dive into like the dark web, the torrent shit, and find these sites that were not favorable to children, right? Mm-hmm. And he would go and it started with him shutting down all of these sites on the back end, and then it started snowballing into figuring out just how sick and what these people actually do. So what he started to do was compile evidence. Okay. And these rings that he was finding had some of the worst, and I'm talking about like parents selling their own kids type shit. Like the worst of the fucking worst people you could ever find in this world. Okay. And he started compiling evidence. And he fell upon the ringleader of one of a really bad one, and he found everything on background on him, had enough evidence to put this man away forever. And because of how he found it, using the dark web and going through all these back roads to get all this information, nobody wanted to touch it, right? So the guy ended up getting caught on his own and went away. But I think that's where the whole what was the one Dads Against Preds?
They're the ones who like hit him up.
Right,
and
right.
Like that. Yeah.
So I think that's where these guys kind of stem from, right? It's like
I can see that.
Okay, we have people who are doing disgusting, fucking inhumane shit in this world. And because I found it doing something that y'all deem is the wrong way, he gets to walk free, even with y'all knowing all the shit that he does, right? So I think that's where that stems from. And don't get me wrong, I know what you're saying on your end too, like with the physical aspect, because in a sense, you need for it to stick and for it to, because an ass whooping is one time, right? The legal way follows you forever. But I think that's where it stems from. When people are going and getting this information and trying to bring it to the legal route, the way you do it affects if that person walks free or not.
And there's more to it as well. I mean, it depends on your local DA. A perfect example. I can tell you right now, like, because I know Alex Rosen, they're based out of Houston, Texas. He goes damn near anywhere in Texas.
Who's that guy? What is
Alex
his?
Rosen. He's Predator Poachers.
Okay, yeah. So that dude right there, he is a perfect example of the right way of doing things, right? Because he goes and doesn't coerce anybody, doesn't threaten anybody. He uses the gift of the gab to get these guys to admit to everything, right? So even if he can't admit any of the evidence he found on them before, if he used the wrong way of doing things at all, that's not going to matter because you have these guys saying it on camera. They're admitting so he's the perfect he's the perfect example of how to do it the right way.
Now the problem though that you run into is most of the times when he has individuals that don't get cuffed up is because of local DAs.
Yep.
And either local DAs or there's a program called ICAC where it's Internet Crimes Against Children Division, and that's like a federal kind of deal. And ICAC is fucking worthless. But either the DA won't pick it up because they're going to say improper found evidence and shit like that, or they'll have ICAC as like the only way that the department's been instructed to properly move forward with these types of crimes, which is bonkers in my opinion. So, I mean, there's different ways to go about it, and to correlate it over back to what we do. It is, I understand the frustration that some of these guys get sometimes, because it's like you put so much time, effort, and dedication into compiling this information to say, look, this is everything I have. The case with Ralph Avalon, we went back and forth with all of our evidence for probably 4 months for stuff that we had before we made a formal approach to Palm Beach County and said, look, this is everything I have. This is an individual that lives in your county. They're in your jurisdiction. Here's his address. This is all the information I have. This is everything he's done. These are screenshots of this. I had access to his bank records. The person they were using as an accountant for that organization, she got cold feet because she freaking was terrified she was going to lose her CPA license being associated with them. She gave me the account information, so I had access to that for 48 hours before I got blocked out.
And that's the thing about the stance on vigilantes, right?
So I got screenshots for everything, and I sent it all, every single bit of it, over to Palm Beach County, and I never heard a thing.
And that's what I'm saying though.
Be like burying my foot in their ass before they finally got back to me.
This stance on vigilantes of and don't get me wrong, I can understand the counter argument to it, right? It's not your job, you can't be doing this. But here's the thing. Obviously, if this went under your nose and y'all don't know what the fuck is going on with this, there needs to be some type of vigilante shit. This anti, like, again, what we talked about, y'all will see it on the BX episode, right? Schlepp, the perfect fucking Z, the perfect fucking what fucking word am I looking for? Example, right? Yeah. Of punishing the vigilante and letting somebody walk free from doing fuck shit, illegal shit, right? At what point do we say, okay, it's not your job, but thank you for bringing this to us? I'll never understand the shit because it's like, what are we doing here?
Let me pose another question to you and commenters, people watching this. Try to take everything we just talked about these investigations and putting together all of this information, submitting it to different jurisdictions. Do me a favor, try and define what you think is a digital vigilante versus what's an investigative reporter or journalist. What is the difference?
They're practically identical.
Yeah, except investigative journalists are dog shit and they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? That's really the big difference, is that investigative journalists don't have a fucking purpose. They don't have a moral compass. It's all about filling an agenda and doing what makes you the most money. And digital vigilantes are doing it for a sole purpose of either helping or protecting something.
And I'll say 90% of the time, digital vigilantes, especially, well, I will say specifically more so or towards like the field that I'm in specifically. I mean, because you can't really live stream what I do. You really can't. Nobody wants to see you fucking throw a camera on yourself and spend 5 hours in there typing, going, "I'm finding this motherfucker business records. Oh, he had this EIN back in 2007. Oh, watch me deep dive into this one, baby. Thank you for the 25.
I don't know. I don't know. To be honest with you, people might be more interested in that than you understand.
I think there's a little bit of Rule 34 going on there, because I have seen some ethical white hat hackers, gray hat hackers, and stuff that have YouTube channels. And what a lot of these guys do, they'll take and I have two different versions of this that I can talk about. There's one guy, I think it's like Nathan Hammond or something like that.
Scammer Payback?
No, that's the other category that I'm going to talk about. But there's this one guy, I believe he used to work for, he's a contractor for Microsoft or something like that. But somebody will receive like a file or something, and it's a scam, and they'll forward it to him, and they'll say, "Hey, like I put this in a virtual machine, and I tried to figure this out, like, but I don't know what they were trying to do." And he'll take whatever, the email, the headers, everything like that, the attachments, and he'll break it all down and run it through all kinds of tools and say, yeah, this would not be clear to somebody who's just thinking they're getting a PDF to e-sign. Like, there's been several YouTubers whose channels have been taken down simply because they opened a PDF that was an attachment from somebody that they thought was like a sponsor or a potential sponsor, sending them like a payment schedule chart to say, like, this is what. Simply opening the PDF, they were able to steal the cookies, the browsing session cookies in their browser, and hijack all of their corporate YouTube channels and turn them into Bitcoin scams. And so this dude just takes it and he breaks it down. And I have literally watched 2-hour long videos of his where he runs stuff through insane tools that only like Kron would know about.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to quit my job pretty soon to get.
Shout out to that boy Kron, by the way.
Hey, yes.
Shout out to that boy Kron, by the way.
I don't need my microwave saying hi tomorrow.
That's facts, man. That's my man, 50 grand. And you know how weird it is. Now, I'm not from this fucking world, right? You know how crazy it is for me to have somebody that I can call a friend that I don't know what his name is. I don't know what the fuck he looks like. I don't know anything about the man. All I know is the man has integrity and he's doing good shit out here. You know how insane that is for me to fucking try to put together in my brain? But that's my man, 50 grand, man. Hey, shout out to Crime, man.
Dude, so I really feel bad. So talking about like mistaken identity and stuff with some of these other people like the vigilantes going after the predators. He's on the other side of that, where he's the digital vigilante and predators are coming after him, but they don't find him. They find whatever other somebody with an Xbox gamer tag or whatever,
Yeah.
And they're harassing random ass people. Dude, I feel so bad for all the people that are mistaken to be him and just getting harassed and blown up, and him coming out and having to say, because how do you prove it? How do you prove it? Mm-hmm. You can't. People just have to eventually trust that it's not you. But like, how do you, without actually exposing your identity? And he's come out and said multiple times, if you figure out who I am, I will tell you yes.
I've had a couple people that go back and forth with me on X, try to dox me out, and go figure, they've all been like blue-haired leftists, but they'll like post a random picture like, this is this fucking incel's house, and I'm like, definitely not my house. And I'll go outside, and you'll see the picture, like it's just like a shitty backyard, and there's like right stacked next to another house, and I'll go out in my backyard because my backyard is opened up for fucking 12 acres, so I'll just snap a picture and I'm like, there you go, that's me standing at my back door right now. So I had good luck.
I had a guy the other day. It was some European guy. It was like, oh, you don't take OPSEC seriously, blah, blah, blah. You're not even Andrew Lemacks because you're probably stealing his pictures from the internet. I'm like, I own businesses and nonprofits. Like, you're not going to find my house. you can try and call my phone number. If you find it in public records, it's not going to ring through to my phone because I block everybody that's not in my contacts. If I don't have your number, you can't call me. I can call you, but you can't call me. So this guy went back and forth with me about, I don't even remember. It was like air conditioning is how it started off. I was like making fun of him about air conditioning. And he's like, I found all this and you're not even the real Andrew. So I'm sitting at the stoplight, right? And I'm in the car and I'm like, I don't know who Andrew is. I've never met this motherfucker in my life. And I sent the guy the video who's like, you're just an asshole. Fuck you. That's probably AI generated. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. I'm just whatever.
Dude, AI is going to be the fucking death.
Yeah, bro. AI is, people are going to fucking use AI for everything, bro.
Yep.
Well, now we got Elon out there making, fucking Troon Gooner shit, openly posting that up on there,
Yep.
So
but what I think is funny though, is that even when I openly say that I am who I am online, people don't even believe that I'm me.
Yep.
Like people are so confused now.
Drew has the best anonymity in the world.
Bro, the sense of reality is going to be gone. But okay, we went off on a fucking tangent.
We really did.
Okay. So anyways, let's get back to fucking what. So he got arrested for that original thing, right?
Correct.
Threatening his girlfriend, wife? What is it?
Yeah, fiance, whatever.
Okay. So he got arrested for threatening her with a gun. And that's your fault. Congratulations on that one. Was right? Darn, right? So what ended up happening from there? And then what are the other charges for the second?
So he went on pending charges for felonious assault with a deadly weapon without intent. And it's because he never actually pointed it at her or anything like that. He merely lifted it up, showed and displayed that he had it. And that was the intent of threat with the deadly weapon. So it wasn't actually directed towards her, saying, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face. So he got arrested, gun got confiscated, which worst thing, he had a fucking, I think it was a CZ. Is that what it was?
I actually don't remember. I remember
it was like some shitty off-brand, like Kel-Tec owners were laughing at him for the weapon that he had. But anyways, but he was arrested for that, and then she bonded him out. And after that, there was a no contact protection order put in place due to the severity of the charges. And so back in May, as a matter of fact, it was a day after my birthday. If people want to use that to try to violate my PERSEC now, he was picked up again. And he was picked up because they caught him in the act of trying to pass fraudulent checks that were being written from this nonprofit into the bank. So
we fucking got him.
And so I will say at that point in time, his biggest issue is now you're messing with FDIC. And so he has 3 class 2 or class 3 felony charges that are all federal. They have to be federal because they involve bank fraud.
So now what comes from this now?
Then he was also picked up with violating his 4th charge that he got was violation of the protective order. So I'm assuming she was in proximity of him as well.
So from this, are they looking into the rest of the shit?
That I don't know. I have not been reached out to or contacted. But what I do know is there was an investigation that was, I can't say too much. The bit that I was informed about is that there was an investigation that was done into the 501c3 and where the funds were being used at. They subpoenaed the bank records that we had provided. And that information was then utilized as a stepping stone into the accounts, and found that a bunch of it was being used for private purposes. And at that point, they put a monitor on the account. And from there, I will not go into the law enforcement aspect as to how those types of investigations are conducted. But at that point, the investigation went to a new level, and he was looked into heavier for it, and they caught him in the act.
Good.
Fucking in situations like this where justice prevails, you know what I'm saying? And okay, I come from a culture where talking to the police and reporting things is looked at as bitch activity. You know what I'm saying? So getting into this world where, well, one you fucking grow up when you grow up in a certain culture and you finally outgrow that culture. Because I will say it's an oppressive culture in itself. It's crazy to me now seeing things from a different view of when people get arrested for doing shit that they definitely shouldn't have been doing, and you can applaud that. It's an eye opener for me, and I wanna real quick just talk to the people from that type of culture. Once you open your eyes and see that culture keeps the blinders on. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ever been to the horse races and you got the little blinders on? Once you take them motherfuckers off and you can finally realize what reporting things and what real justice looks like, man, it is a super fulfilling fucking feeling to know and feel that you glad that somebody got snitched on. You glad that somebody talked and was able to get somebody off of doing something weird like this. Because I'll tell you, the nonprofits and tax fraud and tax evasion, these aren't things that we get talked about, bro. You know what I'm saying? We don't get told that kind of shit. It's a very enlightening thing, and it's a good feeling for me to be able to hear this and be like, hell, I'm glad he got arrested. I'm glad he's being investigated. You know what I'm saying?
So I would say it's not similar because it's not a cultural thing, but then you also have people who genuinely just fear law enforcement and courts in general. For example, my wife, she was sideswiped in the Suburban, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe a year ago. And she trusted that the information that the other driver gave her was accurate. She said, I'll reach out to the dealership, I'll get a quote, and then I'll reach back out to you. And he blocked her, and he had given her fake information, everything like that. She was worried. She didn't want to call the police at the time of the accident. She didn't want to get them involved. She thought she could handle it without it. Now we have to foot the bill to fix the damage on the vehicle because she didn't want to get them involved because she was fearful something else. And it's a completely illogical fear. Mm-hmm. She didn't do anything wrong. She wasn't going to get a ticket. Nothing bad was going to happen. And then you have me, who I'm not scared of law enforcement at any level. I'm friends with a lot of people she's friends with people in law enforcement at various levels. But it's like in their professional capacity. She's like fearful of the interaction with them. Meanwhile, me, where the cop's going 55 into 55 in the left lane.
Oh, I'm going 62.
Yeah, I get in the right lane and I'll drive right past him. And she's like,
not I.
You know why?
Not I.
See, he gonna really, you know why we do that and he doesn't?
Yeah. I know what they're willing to tolerate, right?
No, but I mean, honestly, though, I will say this, all right, because I was law enforcement for a while. After I got out of the Marine Corps, it is they all wear body cameras, and those are monitored by the fucking state, and so as well as a local department. And if you ever have a complaint, all they have to do is pull that officer's body cam footage, send it to internal affairs. And internal affairs, they don't necessarily look into it strictly on their own rights, right? When you make a complaint against an officer, internal affairs will look at it, but then they will send it to an outside department. That outside department will take a look at it. Additionally, they send it to a grand jury, who is all your peers. They're not law enforcement. They're your peers. And the grand jury will take a look at it and deem whether or not it was justified. And if they don't deem it was justified, you get a payday.
Oh, okay. So, but here, okay. On another note, though, there is, there for a lot of people, there is that fear of law enforcement based on true things, right? Like, you know, for the longest time, I was, and I mean, I guess it depends on who it is, right? For the longest time, I had a fear of law enforcement, right? Now, I come from, okay, so look, Chicago, like I'll give y'all a personal one.
That fear, was it fear of getting your ass whooped or fear of going to jail?
Both.
Okay. So the fear of going to jail part, what I can say is this. Would it suck to be falsely accused, thrown in jail for a couple of days? Yeah, it absolutely would. The ass whooping part. What would you prefer? Running from the cops, catching a felony charge, going to jail for a long time because of something you legitimately did from a stupid mistake or a stupid decision, or catch a 30-second ass whooping, do everything that the cop says complies. After you catch that ass whooping one way or the other, take it to court and get paid out at least $10 million.
Well, 100%. But you got to think like this is years back, right?
Yeah.
And so so like personal thing that happened to me. Chicago has a gang unit. Okay. And that gang unit is it's changed now because this is before body cams, right? This is before body cams were around.
Yep.
And gang unit is they're the law, but they operate on that line. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I had a situation where it's like 2 a.m. I'm driving around and I get pulled over by the gang unit. And there's really no talk to be had with gang unit. And I don't look like what normally would get past a gang unit officer. So, I get pulled out. They toss the fucking car, right? And when I tell you they toss the car, it's not like they're throwing shit out the car. I'm talking like everything, fucking CDs, fucking bags. They're dumping bags on the fucking ground. They toss the trunk. Everything comes out of the trunk. They find nothing in there. And they go, all right, now pick up your shit and get the fuck out of here. And they get in the car and leave. Okay. Shit like that. The shit that was going on in Chicago a little bit before that is like gang unit and just even regular just beat cops are picking people up. And I guess to an extent, they're picking up gang members, but sometimes they're picking up people who ain't gang members. And they're dropping them off in neighborhoods that are rival neighborhoods. Or they put them in the back of the car. They take them to a rival neighborhood where a group of, let's just say, not so friendly motherfuckers are hanging out from an opposite gang, and they parade you around. They pull you out the car and they're threatening to uncuff you and just leave you here, right? So there is that fear from real life experience that comes from it. Now it's very different now with body cams. I would definitely say that.
What I was going to say is body cams 100% changed everything.
100%. Body cams have changed a lot, right? Because let's say you have that off chance where the officer isn't running his body cam, he's fucked.
Yep.
I have a buddy. I won't say his name or jurisdiction, but he's a narcotics officer, and he was telling me the other day. I mean, it's brilliant. It's funny, but it's also kind of a brilliant thing, right? So they don't want to be identified, right? So they'll do all of the legwork to track somebody down, follow them to a sale or drop or whatever, and then they'll follow you in unmarked cars. They'll tail you, whatever. They'll play the game where they'll pass you off a couple times, so you're never too worried about the car that's behind you following you for too long down the highway. And they'll lead you right into the county or whatever jurisdiction that they're from. And then they'll call the beat cops to pull you over for something. They'll find a reason like, oh, you were doing 3 over in a construction zone or whatever. And they will make sure that that's the reason why, because then the narcotics officers don't have to do any of the paperwork and they don't have to be there for court.
Yep.
They put it all on the local jurisdiction, and then their faces are never revealed or anything. I was like,
but going back to like where that fear kind of goes away, right? Like me personally, I cut hair. I'm a barber, right? And I've made, and a lot of the local cops come into the shop to get haircuts, and you start to see that there's a lot of bad apples, but you got some of them that understand, right? Some of them, and I've befriended a couple. I even have, one of my guys ended up becoming, CPD, and you start to understand that it's not everybody is out there to fuck you, right? Not everybody is out there to ruin your life. But there still is that problem. like, you know, before, like, and we're not going to get into political shit, but before like the election shit, heat was on PD, you know, and a lot of shit was coming to light in PD countrywide.
Yep.
And nowadays you don't really see too much of it because, you know, there's something else to look at. But once you can get past that fear and understand, one, your rights, right? One, two, ways you can go about essentially getting paid, you can start to see that there's nothing really to fear.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, you do have those dickheads who actively look for situations like that just to
I'll be the first one to say every cop has a guy that they know that,
and they love paperwork.
They fucking despise ever working with on the same shift because they know, and they will. I know of some guys who have openly refused. Like they'll say, "I need a backup officer for for just safety purposes." That officer will pop on, say, unit blah blah blah, in route. No, send somebody else. Like openly say, I do not want you because I know that if you show up, some stupid fucking shit's going to happen. And and everything between dispatch and the officers is recorded as well. And I promise you that shit gets back to department heads, and they will call that officer in. Why don't they want to work with you? What's going on? Why are you the squeaky wheel? What's going on with this shit? And they'll.
But now on the flip side of that, because I have those local guys that come in that I've built a friendship with, they will still let me know, like, a lot of these dudes a lot of the cops doing fuck shit, even after being investigated, are not being punished like they should. There's still politics within law enforcement, right? So, what we will get told at some point is like, oh yeah, it's been handled, isn't actually being handled. So, but here's the thing though, there's a lot of reform that needs to happen in a lot of places.
Yeah.
A whole lot. And law enforcement is is a huge one. You know what I'm saying? But as long as there's being steps made, and don't get me wrong, I still have a heavy distrust of law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? I still do. And I don't think that goes away completely because, personal experiences can change. That they're with you at all times, right? But there's a different outlook you could have to it. There's ways you can look at things and look at situations and understand, okay, I had this shit happen to me, but there's ways that I can go about it now to where I don't have to be fearful. You can have a distrust because honestly, nobody can take away the distrust that you have for something.
Well, there's always the heroes, right? The cops that love paperwork. They'll pull you over for one over. They'll write you the ticket for one over. They'll appear in court all the time because they have nothing better to do than just do their job. They can't comprehend what community policing means.
No, absolutely.
Building trust.
And I think that's, my running theory I always had was 95% of the people who were involved with stupid shit, 95% of them is not that they're antisocial. They're too social. And they get themselves involved in the wrong group, in the wrong crowd, and it leads them down doing stupid shit, and it starts small and works from there and builds up. And then at some point during that journey of building, you're going to interact with me. Now, where you are in that journey is going to determine about, how that interaction goes. It could be something as simple as we had some kids that we pulled over one time that had a this is before they legalized marijuana, shit ton of weed in the car. Shit ton of weed. Like we had them dead to rights, felony charges across the board. And I was like, these kids are like 19. Do I really want to ruin their lives like this? We scared the fuck out of them. Or we scared to fucking put them in handcuffs.
Super troopers.
Put them in the back of the car, and we're talking back and forth. Had a lieutenant come out just to be like, hey, because a lot of times you also have discretion to the officer. A lot of times you have some things where it's a mandate. So perfect example down in Florida. If officers get called to a domestic in Florida and it's confirmed that a domestic occurred, somebody has to go to jail. It can't just be you two work this out. If it is confirmed that a domestic took place, somebody has to go to jail.
What was that?
But in other situations, things like drug possession and stuff like that, depending upon what it is and to what extent, you could really look past it. So like when you see a cop back in the day say, if it's just that roach, I'm not worried about that roach. Like I could care less about that roach. I care about something else. 95% of the time they're being honest with you. They really do not care about the fact that you have, a quarter of 1 ounce of marijuana in your vehicle. Nobody gives a shit about that. So like, these kids, we had them dead to right all day. And so what we did was we, kept them in the back of a car for a hot minute, had a, police canine come around, do the whole searching like that, toss the car, made sure that, they were getting a good feel as we're putting marijuana up there. We're putting, beer containers and stuff like that. Granted, they were still sealed and everything, but we're putting all this stuff on the car and they're going, oh shit. And it's like, okay, well, here's what we could do. We can go this route and you can go to jail. I can have you charged for this. And, it is what it is. Or you can go ahead and dispose of that right now. You can stomp it all out completely, stomp out the bag. And I'm going to watch you take the bag and throw it away after, the weed is all essentially, non-usable anymore. And you can go about your day. Which way do you want to go? Scared the fuck out of that kid. I guarantee you didn't pick up weed for a while. He might have picked it up again later on down the road, but he sure as shit didn't pick it up for at least 6 months to a year. I can promise you that.
Yeah, the majority of the officers that I know, even my buddy that's on narcotics where he works, there's a minimum. Like even I don't remember all the numbers, but he was explaining like if it's less than this much cocaine, doesn't even matter. Basically, what it amounts to is if they can't charge you with trafficking, they don't care.
Yep.
Now, what I do want to talk about real quick is there's a culture of people who know they're doing the wrong shit. And you still play this victim card. Let me tell you something. If you are in it, right? If you in the life and you got guns on you and you selling drugs and you doing the utmost fuck shit in your life, you cannot then turn around and say, I'm being persecuted by the law. Motherfucker, you are doing exactly what they said you're doing. Okay? You selling drugs, you shooting at people, you doing this and that. You cannot then turn around and be like, man, I don't know why they keep fucking with me, man. I'm being persecuted because the law don't fuck with. Motherfucker, you are doing it. There's a reason for what the fuck you doing.
Yep.
They're on your ass because they know you doing weird, dumb shit.
Have you ever watched?
We can't, bro. We gotta stop this shit. We gotta stop this whole the crying wolf shit. If you know you're doing shit, now it's well in your right. Well, not in your right, but it's well in how you should handle it. You should try to get out. I would imagine you're gonna try to get out of it, but you can't turn around and be like, man, I'm being fucked with constantly. I'm being persecuted. I'm being this. I'm being that. Yes, when you shoot at motherfuckers and you sell drugs, you're going to get fucked with. You're not a victim here. You never will be. Yes, absolutely.
You sounded like Martin Lawrence there at the beginning.
That's my shit.
When he goes to the dude with the rim shop, he's like, solve the case on the first day.
He's like zip the shit up.
It's not with the pastrami. I can smell this. I can smell it coming through your pores.
It's coming through your pores right now. It's coming through your pores. Right? And it's such a fucking it's a mind boggle to me because again, when you come from the culture, that makes sense. Like you rally behind that. Like, yeah, cops shouldn't be fucking with people. Yes, the fuck they should.
Do you want to know something funny? A lot of the people who are heavily involved in that culture, who have a lot of interactions with the police, who preach that shit of be afraid of the cops, done all the naked stuff like that. A lot of those people know a lot of those cops on damn near a first name basis.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, they're cordial with them every time. They look at it as a game.
Oh yeah,
they really do start to look at it
as a game.
Where it's like cat and mouse,
mm-hmm.
And it's like they're doing everything they can to get away with it, and then you have
motherfucker's popular over here.
I know, right? My wife won't stop texting me right now. But then you'll have then you have the officers who are sitting there trying to find out how you're going to make your next move, and we know you'll get caught eventually. Nobody gets away with it forever.
Oh, yeah.
No, you'll get away with it for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're just building a bigger case against you, and they're like, We can keep
going back to Ralph, though. He was supposed to have court, I guess, back in July, and his I think it was his attorney showed up late. His attorney was like an hour and a half late to court. He never showed to court.
Clovers did that too,
and he's still sitting in jail because nobody's willing to bail him out. And I said it on She's Right, He's Wrong podcast, and I'll say it again here. Or he's wrong.
Fuck it up.
I know I'm horrible with names and shit, bro. My bad. But I said it last time I was here was, and I'll say it again, was you could buy care packages for the inmates, and you can have them like anonymously made and like personalized and shit like that. And I want to buy him a snack pack. It has like a bunch of cookies and Ritz crackers and all kinds of shit like that. And I want to have it sent to him, and I want to have a personalized note that says, with courtesy from Western North Carolina.
Enjoy your cookies and crackers in prison, motherfucker.
And we don't really touch on, because people are the blinders come on for every type of situation. We don't really talk about the devastation that they felt out there with that hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
People were fucked up off that hurricane. People lost everything.
There's still roads and shit that
yeah.
And you like, I don't know, like, and the people that have felt this can feel it until you have actually lost everything and you've hit the bottom of that fucking bottom. You don't know what fucking despair is. You don't know what it feels like to be helpless and to just, especially, and it's not above any of the others, right? It's not a man-woman thing, but I can only speak on me personally. When you're in a position as a man where your family is now living in a fucking tent and there's nothing you can do about it, it's the type of shit that can break your soul, and not even your fucking soul, man. And these people are out here horrible, just living horrible, man. You lost everything you've worked your entire life for, only to have some dickhead come around and accept money on behalf of you to spend on himself, taking your tragedy and despair and your soul-killing fucking experience and make a profit on it.
Yep.
It's the epitome of piece of shit fucking person. And I can only wish the worst for people like that, man.
And what I will say is, to anybody who has experienced that, or anybody who will experience that, because it will happen again. It's inevitable. I don't know how many groups like ours that there are out there. Our inbox is open. We're all located pretty much on the eastern side of the country. I mean, a couple of us are in North Carolina. We got a couple people we have one that's up in New Jersey. We have one that's down in Louisiana. We have one that's in Tennessee. A couple, I think, that are in Tennessee. I think one is in Kentucky. We're mainly on this side of the country, but we have zero hesitation in reaching out to anywhere, to the point where those floods just hit Texas. We had somebody that we knew was on our radar already for scamming head down that way. We contacted groups and authorities that were down there. They made it to town within 15 hours of that tragedy happening. The second they hit town, before they could even open their fucking mouth, law enforcement caught them, turned around and said, "Don't even think about it," and sent them away.
And if you don't have, damn, man, if you don't have,
I had to choke on myself there for a minute. Holy crap.
If you don't have an X account or a way to get a hold of him, we also have, for both this podcast and for the He's Wrong, She's Right podcast, we have a tips at email address, and it's not monetary tips, it's information tips.
Yep.
So tips at he's wrong, she's right.com or tips at thetrunktails.com. So depending on where that comes into, if it comes into tips at thetrunktails.com, Grimzy and I will both see it. If it comes into He's Wrong, She's Right, my wife and I will see it for them.
And what I'd like to offer is the same thing that I offered BX on our episode. this is something that I'd like to get involved with, right? So, you know, if you've got some shit that's going on and some shit that needs to be put out there, like you know, on the BX episode, we talked a lot about Roblox, and we talked about a lot of these groups that are going after kids using apps and all types of shit. Something that I wasn't aware of, you know what I'm saying? I felt kind of fucked up not being aware of it, but you know, I linked up with BX and got information and was able to start putting out videos and start getting people aware to it. So this is another thing that I would like to get involved with. So if if you guys over at DEI Solutions, if y'all over at DEI Solutions have anything, right, that y'all want to push, I would love to get involved and spread awareness to that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I mean, a lot of what we do is more so kind of in the shadows of things. I mean, like 90% of the time, I don't want, so unlike things like BX, where it's like, we definitely want somebody to stop touching kids. We definitely want somebody to stop fucking with kids. 100%, you want to nix that as quick as you can. In the situation for what we do, a lot of times, I don't want you to stop. I want you to continue doing it. Yeah, it fucking sucks that you're laundering money, but all that's doing is just giving me more ammo. So that, you know, as I'm doing this deep dive investigation on you, as I'm, you know, really looking into your background, you know, we pull everything. You know, I sent Drew that for that teaching like that. The report that I sent him, it went back to addresses he had fucking 20 years ago, phone numbers that back when fucking Bell was still in operation. You know, I could find a lot of stuff really quick.
No, yeah, and I'm talking in the sense of like,
you know, as I'm doing that dive, I want you to keep spending money. I want you to keep fucking up.
100%. I'm talking in the sense of like what you just brought up, right? Where y'all were able to contact authorities upon one dude that you're trying to keep from going to these places, right?
Yep.
People need to know about these companies that we're trying to keep out of them kind of places, right? I can understand the whole, like, you want people to keep,
and here's what I'll do
too.
I'll throw you into our group chat that we have.
Yeah, most definitely.
And I'll bring in on that. And then you know, like when we have something that's popping off, if you want to read in on it too and freaking, you know, work things from your aspect, from like the social media aspect, as far as, you know, bringing awareness to it and everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it don't even have to involve the company itself or the person y'all are looking into. It can be ways to sniff out shit like this. It can be tips and tricks on what you should, like the EIN thing that we talked about. Excuse me, earlier.
Oh, see, he's able to mute his mic. I can't mute shit when I do it.
Yeah,
I just muted you.
So the EIN thing we were talking about earlier of making sure that they've had at least 6 to 12 months of business doing this, or making sure that their EIN checks out. Those kind of things are things like, you know, I myself didn't have any idea about it, right? So that's another thing that can be brought up, because, you know, with the BX thing, I ended up, you know, Drew brought up some pointers of blocking networks, and BX has a Substack where she's talking about how to read signs of, you know, when your kid is going through shit like this. So even stuff like that, I can take and do exactly what I do with the political shit and simplify it for people so they can understand what the fuck this all means. And we can get awareness out that way too, if y'all are investigating somebody that y'all want to keep digging a fucking hole for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could throw that motherfucker in the trunk.
Yeah, oh yeah. These motherfuckers are going in the trunk. People keep asking me, how big is that trunk? Motherfucker, big enough for the world.
It's what do you call it? It's like the
Slaps trunk. You know, you can fit 5 bodies in this thing.
No. What's that called? It's like infinitely large. There's a term.
It's like Mary Poppins handbag. All right, that bitch never ends.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Here they're gone. Yeah. Pocket dimension.
Love that shit, man.
Hey, when that shirt comes out, though, I'm gonna buy me one of them.
Which one? Oh, the get in the trunk shirts. Oh yeah, shameless plug. We're gonna go ahead and shameless plug this. So Drew's got on the first ever one I did with American Lichter, and
I gotta get one of them too.
Before, you can't get one of those. Those are gone. But you know what? American Lichter might be able to make you one. Yeah,
they might be able to make
X9. So true. So for the the people who are watching, most of y'all probably know American Lichter, because the people that watch this is going to be either people that have got said shirt or just know of it. So all of my creations that I come out with as far as clothing goes, this is actually one of them. This is actually one of the.
I have that same shirt too.
One of the American Lichter ones, and I use American Lichter because American Lichter is 100% American made, right? From the cloth that gets fucking woven to make the shirts, to the presses, to the business, to the outsourcing that they do on everything they do is 100% American made. And American Lichter has put me on another the guys behind American Lichter I consider friends as well. Now they put me on to a lot of the things that goes behind American made shit, because that's my branding. I want to put out American made shit because I want to practice what I preach. And American Lichter is 100% American made. They do not do this as a they don't do it as a job. American Lichter, they have jobs outside of this. They don't do this to make money. They do it to spread awareness and in making American made apparel and American made fucking everything. And that's why I use American Lichter for the only shirt that I had come out, the Shut the Fuck Up shirt. And now we will be bringing out a Get in the Trunk shirt. And I put out a preview of that shirt on X. I strongly encourage anybody coming out to look into American made shit. Okay. It's difficult. I understand it's difficult because I looked into it before I found American Lichter. I looked into it. It's tough, man. It's tough. And it's because we're so fucking dependent on all these other countries to make the shit that we want. But
to the people that want to nitpick stuff as well, I believe on their site, and then eventually when this show has merch, when we sell it through them, and then I do have another couple of organizations for different purposes, things that they can't do, we'll do with another one of my clients. But previously, when I was working for a nonprofit, when we made those claims about things being American made, which they were, people were asking me everything you could imagine. So if you have a question, where did the fabric come from? Where did the dyes come from? Where did the ink come from? Where did the machine come from? I will make it my mission to put all of those in the product description. And if you ask me the question and the answer's in the product description, I'm going to fucking block you. Read it.
No, people don't read, bro.
I know, but I'm telling them right now.
People don't fucking read, man. So that the shameless plug comes from that shirt will be coming out. It is going to be on AmericanLichter.com, and it will be available for pre-order. What I will say is there's only going to be a set amount of time you can get them. American Lichter works with people like me who have a brand that they come out with and they release it for a set amount of time, and then they don't print them anymore. And that's what happened with the Shut the Fuck Up shirts. That, I told people they only have a week to get them, and if you didn't get them, it's kind of over with. But I will take every opportunity I have to plug people who, one, push American made products, and two, work on pure fucking integrity. And American Lichter is definitely one of those companies that have the integrity that I myself love working with. And I'm a big person of practice what you preach. And they are another one that practice what they preach. Everybody that we bring on here, you know what I'm saying? Fucking Z, BX, everybody that we've had on here, they practice what the fuck they preach. And I encourage everybody who watches to practice what you preach and really get in touch with the word integrity, because it's a dying word.
Being attacked?
The fuck is going on up there? Let me get my take it out my check.
AR that he's getting, I'll tell you that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's definitely. And the tax out there, fucking they got like some special fucking tax deal that starts next month until December. with firearms in Florida. So I'm gonna make it just in time to be able to fucking capitalize on that.
He's gonna be really pissed off when he gets down there and like, oh no, new state regulation, you can't get a license for at least 6 months.
Yeah.
And he's like, no.
Z, you have a way of shitting on my parade. You motherfucker. God, I'm a fucking man.
Okay, so here's a question, okay? You have to fight 5 banana spiders and 5 palmetto bugs in the dark, and they give you an extra AR for free for 5 minutes.
Z, you have a way. You have a way of really pissing me off, you motherfucker. I am for an extra AR. I'll fight the devil at Hell's Gate. Give me that shit. Palmetto bugs. I'm stomping them out. Man.
Here's what I think you need to do: bottle them up, capture them live. I'll give you his address.
Wow. Wow.
I think I like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I think I like what's going on in this motherfucker.
That's cool. Next time I come down to Florida, though, we're gonna link up.
Please, man. Please. I think I'm gonna have a lot more shit to do in Florida. There's gonna be a lot of different content that comes from being in Florida. And I mean, there's a lot of people reaching out to me from our community that are down there that want to link up and they want to give me shooting tips and they want to take me shooting and fishing and fucking wildlife exploring and these are all things that I want to kind of put into there because we have a lot of good fucking dudes in our section. A big thing,
and the thing, everybody fears this section. Everyone's always afraid.
And the craziest part is
the shit.
I got the utmost fucking love from this section, bro. Like, I think I brought it up on the he's wrong, she's right.
Yeah, I'm the one who fucks it up.
I brought it up on there too. Is like, I didn't do anything with X. I never fucked with X, and I ended up jumping into this section of X. And just completely fucking green, bro. And the amount of love I got from this section, I attribute to a lot of my success in reaching different fucking people. The only people that fear this section of X are the people who are not doing what the fuck they're supposed to do. They're afraid of something because and this section of X, and it's when I say this section, we have a conglomerate. We have a circle of people, when we say this section, and there's a lot of different kind of subsections that I don't really know about, but I know my internal, the guys that I really rock with in that section are some of the fucking best people that I've gotten to fucking talk with, and they showed me a lot of love. They're very inviting. That section is nothing like I've ever felt before, and I come from a culture of a lot of fake fucking love and a lot of people who want something from you, and I've never had that feeling or experience in this section, and that's why I'm always you will never get me to turn on this section that we have of dudes, and it's diverse than a motherfucker, bro. We got people that are into fucking everything, bro, everything. Like I said, motherfuckers are trying to take me shooting. Motherfuckers are putting me on to different things. Motherfuckers are trying to,
This dude over here's into like British rap.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say furry shit because that kind of that would make a little bit of sense to me.
Somebody put a picture up. It was like there's a picture of like there's like something like 100 furries going to some fucking convention in Vegas or some shit, and they wore their furry shit on the airplane. And my first thought was like, that is the first time I've ever prayed for a fucking flight to go down.
Don't do it.
You see the pilot put the parachute on.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm like, yes, that pilot has a right. That pilot is about to fucking, Cooper, your DB Cooper, this bitch, and I am all for it.
Without a paddle reference, you motherfucker. I love it. I fucking love it, man. Hey, listen. Look, another way to get in with me is having fucking unknown movie references. If you got him, we probably get along very fucking well, man. That's Without a Paddle. If you haven't seen Without a Paddle, it's fucking hilarious. What I'm trying to get into here is, man, when you find what people see from the outside is definitely not always what it is inside. And I know a lot of people, whether it's fear or hate the section that we got over on X. And my only thing that I could say to y'all is good luck.
Yep.
Good fucking luck, man. We there's a lot of things going on over there.
There are some guys in there that if they follow you on social media, it better be because they like you. If they follow you on social media and you don't know who they are or why they're following you, you're probably about to have
there's a lot of fuck around and find outs in that section.
Yep.
Oh yes, there is.
There's a whole lot of fuck around and find outs. I found out going back to fucking Kron. I didn't even know when I first got in tune with Kron. I didn't even know Kron and fucking Shads, bro. I had no idea. And then I jumped into space with UZ.
Yeah, it was the first one. And
it was the first one I ever did.
Yeah, and someone popped a story to you, told you about fucking Kron making the toaster talk. Dude,
yeah.
Dude, you couldn't fucking believe that shit.
I couldn't, bro. I couldn't. And like people are like, because I think I got asked, like, you're good with Kron? And I'm like, yeah, the Kron showed me a lot of love. And they're like, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Oh shit. And they're like, no, you don't understand. And they got into the fucking the toaster stories, and they got into the fucking the wall stories with Shads. And I'm like, who the fuck was I talking to? What? who are these people? There's a lot of fuck around and find outs. And I attribute that to a lot of the love and I would go as far as to say protection I have on X. Because I'll tell y'all this. There's 3 platforms that I'm on. There's X, there's Instagram, and then there's fucking TikTok, right? TikTok is the start. Our section does not really like TikTok at all, right? I get a lot of love on TikTok. I rarely get hate on TikTok. I get a whole lot of love on TikTok. And
I actually had a decent following on TikTok. I was up to 64,000 followers, and motherfuckers banned my account.
They do that shit, bro. They do that shit.
Me out of fucking nowhere.
Instagram, I get all my hate on Instagram. I get all the hate on Instagram, and it's a lot of very insecure men that I think need to open that closet door and just give a little peek out. You know what I'm saying?
I got my first ever strike on Instagram yesterday, back to back. I posted, I don't know if you saw the picture of Ohio State's coach, Ryan Day. You can clearly tell through his shirt that his nipples are pierced.
Oh, I saw it on X today.
And somebody photoshopped a ball gag into his mouth. And I posted it and I said it gives a new meaning. So Ohio State fans, when they do their little chant, one group will say OH and the other group will say IO. And I posted the picture with the caption, it gives new meaning to OH. And within 5 minutes, it was removed. I got emails. I got the splash screen that you can't get out of without clicking all the things. And it said, we removed your post for sexual activity. And here's the rules. You can't expose breasts unless you're talking about the female reproductive system or nursing or whatever. And I'm like, so I screenshot it and I shared that back to Instagram with the original picture again. And I said, I think Instagram is calling Ryan Day a woman. He's not even naked. Like, what's happening here? And they hit me on that one too. They removed that one too.
So it checks out, bro. It checks out.
I don't do IG, but I still have a Facebook, and I literally only have my Facebook because my wife and all of her family are on there. It's the only social media that they use. If I get on there, I like share a recipe with her that I found. Like that's it. But like back in the day, before I did Twitter and all that stuff, I would post some heinous shit on there sometimes. Like I used to take that ban and be like, yeah, I just caught a 90. This is a good one, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like 4 months ago, have not fucking put a picture on that damn thing in years. They fucking gave me a temporary ban from going live for 7 days and clap me for some fucking picture like meme that I used back in like 2006.
Yep, they do that.
I'm like, what the hell? Like I
they
laughed.
do that.
I would show my wife, like, look, I haven't been on fucking Facebook, in almost 10 years, really, and I'm still getting this shit.
Instagram and Facebook are one of the fucking same, man. And Instagram is that one that I get a whole lot of fucking hate on there. And X is hit or miss on the fucking hate, but I get a lot of there's a lot of people looking out for me on X. And fucking when I tell you, like, there's a couple names that if I ever tag a couple names on something, on a heinous fucking comment or something, they might not know what it means, but it's probably a good idea to just delete your fucking account.
Yep.
And that's the kind of it's gonna be a fucking day. It's gonna be a field day, and you're gonna see a whole bunch of gifts from me, maybe 10, 20 minutes after that, of just chairs being pulled out and me sitting the fuck down. Those are the kind of fuck around and find outs that we got. And I fucking love it. And it's an amazing show to watch.
Well, I love being a part of that network for you.
It's an ice cream truck.
It's a fucking y'all still got ice cream trucks out there?
It's still 80 plus degrees.
It's 80 degrees out here, man.
Oh, that's yeah.
You're about to live the dream too, baby. It's okay.
I'm looking forward to. You know what I'm not looking forward to is that fucking drive.
No, you should not be looking forward to the fucking humidity.
Yep. And
the temperature is one thing. The humidity out here, that's what gets you.
You know,
the running.
Like I said, you always have to make shit worse. Z.
No.
I have this thing in my head of like I'm getting fucked on one end.
I am mentally preparing you for the endeavors that you were about to engage in. I'm preparing you so that you have no misillusions about what it is you're walking into. So that when you walk outside for the first time and when you breathe in, your lungs go, "What the fuck are you sucking in water for?"
But here's the thing, I'm excited to look into fucking Palmetto Armory, and you telling me about palmetto bugs. Z, you're not helping.
You're talking Florida versus South Carolina.
Yeah.
But look, hey, but you get the bikinis, all right? We don't have that up here like that.
Y'all don't have bikinis over there?
Not like that. I mean, we have them, but it ain't like that.
During tourist season.
Yeah, during tourist season, you get that. Other than that, you get the fucking grandmas who sat their whole lives here drinking sweet tea and fucking eating fucking biscuits that were homemade. We don't get the college girls up.
You know what I am excited about over there? I'm excited about fucking the different kind of ranges you can go to, the different type of trainings you can do that you just can't do here, bro. They just don't have it. And I don't think they ever will. JB Pigster over here is just never gonna he's never gonna make it happen. So I'm excited for a lot of things out there. But I would be lying to say that I'm not like a little apprehensive about fucking taking this big ass trip, bro. This big ass trip is fucking, it's out of my wheelhouse.
If you need to fucking, talk to somebody to stay awake on your drive, I've made the cross country drive at least 4 times. It is a motherfucker. I hate it. But if you need someone to talk to, stay awake like that, feel free to shoot me a call.
I got the animals, and I got my girl who's making the trip with me. So but she sleeps a lot. So I might end up fucking making that call. I definitely might end up making a fucking call, man.
If you need to vent, bitch and moan about driving, let me know.
I'm very good about bitching and moaning about driving. Let me tell you. I bitch and moan about a 30-minute Drive, let alone fucking 18-hour drive, bro.
Speaking of that, I do got to get rolling here pretty quick.
Well, it's been a good one, and as always, thanks for, I guess, wow, words.
Put it together, bro. Get it together.
Thank you for coming back on, because this is a different show. But thank you for coming back into my home.
I appreciate the invitation to come back to your home. Apparently, the first time I wasn't horrible enough. So,
well, I mean, my wife did leave this time. So, I mean, what's that tell us?
Yeah, man. As we always love to fucking close out, man. We appreciate y'all watching. And again, this is still, where we got some episodes in now, but this is still a work in progress. So as you can always, just like every other episode, comment down below. You can email us on what you would like to see and what you're not seeing, things we can improve on, man. And Z, I just want to thank you for making the drive, bro, and dedicating your time to this shit, man. I appreciate it. I really do, man.
I appreciate the invite. Look forward to it every time.
Fuck yeah, man. So as always, man, love, peace, and chicken grease. This is the Trunk Tales. Get you one.
Peace. I'll be right back.
Trunk Tales! Trunk Tales! Trunk Tales! Grimzy, Bacon Father! Trunk Tales! Trunk Tales! Trunk Tales! Grimzy, Bacon Father! Sit up front, sit and talk. We ain't here to ball and mark. The front seat is where great minds meet, while the big picture comes into focus. Come and ride, take pride. You are listening to Trunk Tales. Talk from Main Street. I'm a matter of all that matters. Educated on the beat of where DC was.